Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 new features of Ableton Live 10. If you want a deeper look at every single new feature they added, make sure to check out my buddy Slink's video over on his channel. I'll link that above me right now, where he does a 30-minute view of every single thing that they added to the program. I definitely recommend it. It covers basically everything that they integrated into the new version of Ableton. But without any further ado, let's hop into the studio and check out some of my favorite features of the new DAW. Enjoy. Awesome guys, so to start up our list, we're going to look at Mp3 encoding. You can actually encode Mp3 out of Ableton now. Now this isn't really necessary by any means, but it is very convenient. Mp3 is actually losing a lot of popularity due to how lossy it is, but it is still the smallest way to store audio at a reasonable file size. The second thing we can cover is all of the new browser features. As you can see, we have something called collections now, where we can rename these, name them whatever we want. Let's say we want this to be samples. Then we can go into a folder and we can actually start tagging these with the arrow keys, so that whenever you click on the samples, it'll show everything that you tag. Now you can tag folders, samples, things like that, built-in things like instruments. Let's actually tag sampler, for example. And as you can see, we can see everything under that color tag here in the collections window now. If you hover over the upper right hand corner of this pane, you can actually uncheck things that you don't want to see. If you don't use Max for Live, you can uncheck Max, uncheck those, hit done, and then they'll be hidden from your view here. You can never do that in Live 9 or 8. And that is very nice, so you can keep this as organized or as disorganized as you want. In addition to this, you can now rename things directly in your browser, like so, Midi files. And then of course, this does not change the actual folder name outside of Ableton. The next feature on our list is a really cool thing you can do with audio now. Now, previously in Ableton Live 9, the only way you can work with the audio on your arrangement view is to actually go into the clip window down here. But in Ableton Live 10, you can now adjust a lot of the clip parameters right in the arrangement, as you can see here. If you hold the Alt and Shift key, you can actually scrub through the clip on the actual arrangement, as you can see here. If you hold Command, Alt, and Shift, or Command, Option, Shift, or Control, Alt, Shift, you can actually slide it off of the grid, as you can see here, to get those really fine adjustments. And then if you hold the Shift key while adjusting the size of the clip, now typically this would crop the clip, as you can see here, you can actually resize the clip and stretch it out in the arrangement view here, which is pretty cool. If you highlight a region of a clip and you separate it, like so, it'll automatically separate. Before, it would actually just drag the file and you'd have to split manually. That is no longer the case. And if you press the R key over a clip while it is highlighted, it'll reverse the clip automatically instead of going down here to the reverse button. Another cool thing about this, as you can see, there's a square in the corner here. This is for the fades. They removed it from the old automation system, and now you can just adjust the fade of a clip directly from the top right hand corner. The new features aren't just limited to audio though. You can actually highlight multiple MIDI clips now and view the MIDI notes of each clip. If we actually color this one, let's say orange, and this one teal, you can see each individual MIDI clip's MIDI note data here, and you can click between the two. This is going to be really convenient for rewriting chords. So let's say that you want to rewrite a section, but you don't want to adjust all the chords in every single MIDI clip manually and actually look at all the chords. You can actually now see every chord of every clip in a single view, like so, and then you can adjust them accordingly. So if you want these to all be in the same key, you can drag these into place, and now you can see we can swap back and forth between the two clips. You can actually start MIDI notes from within the actual MIDI note, and it'll continue playing the note. As you can see here, we did not have to start it from the beginning of the clip like we did in Ableton Live 9. So the next feature on our list is something that we've been asking for a long time. Let's say that we saved a project file and we made an adjustment we didn't like, accidentally saved over the old revision, and then we have no way of going back to the previous version. Now, if you don't have something like Splice that automatically backs up every single revision you make, this was very detrimental to a lot of writers that accidentally saved over their work. Luckily now in Ableton Live 10, Ableton has integrated a new backup system where it stores the previous 10 saves of the project, labeled here by the date and time it was saved, according right here. And you can now go back and open previous revisions, up to 10 revisions of the same project, so that you never have that problem of accidentally saving over something you didn't want to save over before. One really overlooked and useful setting that a lot of people have been neglecting is the new metronome settings. You can actually now adjust the rhythm and speed of the metronome. Prior to this, you'd have to set the BPM of the song to double or half time to get the metronome to click in those speeds. But now you can actually see here, you can adjust the rhythm the metronome is clicking at, and you can adjust whether or not it is only clicking while recording or the sound used for the metronome. The count-in remains the same from Ableton Live 9. Now, as you can see, if we have the metronome enabled and we press play, it's going to click at the default quarter note speed in 4/4 time, of course. But we can now adjust this. If we go in here, we can change it to 1 bar. That'll tick every 1 bar instead of every quarter bar. We can do 8th note, which is double time, and etc. You can do a lot of cool new recording modes here so that you can actually record in different tempos than the actual target time signature or tempo that you have assigned here. So the next feature is kind of obscure. It's for people that have interfaces with a lot of in and outs or a lot of outboard gear that they want to label. It's a feature that deadmau5 actually specifically and very notoriously asked for on Twitter a while ago, but it is labeling outputs and inputs. I have mine labeled here. This is the Scarlett 2i2, so I have the Scarlett 1 and 2, which is the first channel and the second channel, and then the stereo of both of these combined here. You can also label inputs. I haven't done that because I have my audio device turned off while recording. But it's very, very handy if you have a big interface and you need to send audio out to 30 different places and you need to label which one is going where. Another cool new feature of the new Ableton Live 10 is the pedal device, which is essentially a distortion pedal. It sounds a lot better than overdrive does, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it now. We're gonna hop into this a little bit deeper in a future video. I just wanted to mention it in this list because it is a very cool device and it's something that is going to be very exciting for a lot of sound designers in the future. In addition to pedal, Ableton has a brand new synthesizer called Wavetable. If we load it in right here, we can see exactly what it is. It is a Wavetable synthesizer similar to Massive or Serum, but at a 1/10 of the CPU usage. It's going to be very, very popular with sound designers in the future when it finally is launched with Ableton 10 early next year. We've been looking at DAWs like FL Studio now for a very long time. I've been envious of that 60 frames per second and super smooth animations. Ableton now runs at 60 frames per second, and if you watch as I play this clip here, or play the timeline I should say, you can see how smooth the cursor is moving across the timeline here. And everything basically is very, very fluid, and there's no real delay time like there was before. So if I make a new Midi clip and then duplicate it, you can see how fast everything looks as it moves. Very, very cool. The other note we have here is vector scaling and pen and tablet mode. Pen and tablet mode is basically designed for tablets and touchscreens. It makes it a little bit easier to use. But the more exciting thing here is the new zoom and vector-based GUI. If we load in an instrument here, just for an example, let's load an analog, and then actually go to preferences and zoom way, way in. As you can see, these devices don't look pixelated and blown up anymore because it uses a new vector system. Now vector, if you don't know graphic design or anything about GUIs, a vector is a mathematic line. It is a point-to-point graphic system where it can scale infinitely because it's based on a mathematic algorithm instead of a bitmap, which is essentially like a JPEG or PNG file that can't scale because it's based on pixel data. This kind of killed two birds with one stone. We now have high DPI support as well for high DPI laptops, but on smaller screens that run higher resolutions like the Razer Blade Stealth, For example, my Razer Blade Stealth runs a 4K display on an 11-inch screen, and it scales windows up to compensate. Ableton didn't scale right, and it looked very, very blurry and pixelated, making it very hard to use on that laptop. And it fixed it with this new zoom and vector-based GUI. There's a few new themes as well. We have the light, which is very cool and white, mid-light, mid-dark, dark, and Live 9 theme, and as you can see, everything is about the same here. So that is basically all the UI updates, and let's move on to the next and final point. And of course, this is our final point and top feature of Ableton Live 10, grouping groups. If I make a ton of new channels here, you can now, of course, grab the bottom channel, highlight and group the channels, and then if we wanted to, group them into another group. So let's highlight that group along with these clips here, do Command G, and as you can see, we have a group that is containing a secondary group. You can now have all of your drums in one group and then have your hats or percussion in a secondary group or a tertiary group within that original group here. And that is the top feature of Ableton Live 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to make some new Ableton Live 10 content for you guys when Ableton Live 10 launches in early next year. This is an early look. This is the beta version, so things may change down the line. But for now, I'm very excited for Ableton Live 10, and I hope you guys are too. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I make a video every week. Give the video a like if you liked it, give it a dislike if you disliked it, and let me know why in the comments below. Give me any suggestions for future videos down there as well. And until the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.